Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to spend some time talking about a book that is, quite frankly, the grandfather of all personal development literature. I'm talking about Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Now, before you roll your eyes at the title, because I know it sounds like one of those get-rich-quick schemes you see in a late-night infomercial, I want you to pause. This book was published in 1937, right at the tail end of the Great Depression. Hill didn't just sit down and make this up. He spent 20 years interviewing the most successful people of his era: Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, trying to find the common thread between them. What he found wasn't a banking strategy or a stock market tip. It was a psychology. The core premise of this book is simple, yet radical. Thoughts are things. Most people live their lives reacting to the world. Hill argues that the masters of the world do the opposite. They create their world through the disciplined application of thought. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down the 13 principles Hill outlines. We aren't just going to skim them. We're going to look at how they actually work in the real world. The foundation: desire and faith. Let's start at the beginning. Hill says the starting point of all achievement is desire. But he doesn't mean a wish. We all wish for things. I wish I had $1 million. I wish I was fitter. A wish has no energy. Hill talks about a burning desire. It's that obsessive quality where you've burned the bridges behind you. He tells a story about a warrior who landed on an enemy shore and ordered his men to burn the ships. The message was clear: win or perish. That's the level of desire we're talking about. But desire alone is just fire. It needs a container. That container is faith. Now, Hill isn't necessarily talking about religion here. He defines faith as the visualization of and belief in the attainment of desire. It's the ability to see the goal in your mind so clearly that your subconscious mind starts to accept it as a reality. Think about it. Every building you see, every app on your phone, every business you walk into it started as a thought. It was invisible before it was visible. Faith is the bridge between the invisible thought and the physical reality. If you don't believe you can do it, your brain literally shuts off the problem-solving sectors that would have shown you the way. The engine: specialized knowledge and imagination. Next, Hill moves into specialized knowledge. This is a big one because we're often told knowledge is power. Hill says that's a lie. Knowledge is only potential power. It only becomes real power when it is organized into a plan of action. He points out that Henry Ford didn't have a high school education, yet he was one of the most powerful men in the world. Why? Because he knew how to surround himself with people who had the facts he lacked. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know how to get the information you need, and, more importantly, how to use it. Then comes my favorite part of the book: imagination. Hill describes two types. First, synthetic imagination, which is basically taking old ideas and rearranging them into new combinations. Think of it like Lego bricks. Most of us use this daily. But then there's creative imagination. This is what we call genius or inspiration. It's when you connect to what Hill calls infinite intelligence. It's that aha moment that comes out of nowhere. The takeaway here is that your imagination is a muscle. If you don't use it to solve problems or envision your future, it withers. But if you exercise it, it becomes the workshop where your future is built. method, decision, persistence, and the mastermind. Now, we get into the grit of the book. Hill studied over 25,000 men and women who had experienced failure. He found that one of the leading causes of failure was a lack of decision. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them very slowly, if at all. Unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. If you're constantly swayed by the opinions of others, you'll never reach a definite chief aim. And what happens when you make a decision and things go wrong? That's where persistence comes in. Hill says there is no substitute for persistence. It's the carbon that turns the iron of your character into steel. He notes that most people are ready to throw in the towel at the first sign of opposition. But the greats look at failure as nothing more than a signal that their plan wasn't sound. They don't quit, they change the plan. Finally, let's talk about the mastermind. This is perhaps Hill's most famous concept. He defines it as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Think about it this way. When two electric batteries are connected, they provide more energy than a single battery. The same happens with minds. When you sit down with people who are on the same mission as you, a third mind is created, an invisible force that is greater than the sum of its parts. You cannot become truly wealthy or successful entirely on your own. You need the brain trust. Conclusion and final takeaway. So, where does that leave us? Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich isn't just about the money in your bank account. It's about the wealth of your character and the discipline of your mind. The rich in the title refers to a richness of life, freedom, peace of mind, and accomplishment. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. You are the master of your fate because you have the power to control your thoughts. Your brain is a magnet. It attracts the people, the tools, and the circumstances that align with your dominating thoughts. So, what are you thinking about today? Are you focused on why things won't work, or are you obsessed with how they will? I'd highly encourage you to pick up a physical copy of this book. It's not a one-time read, it's a manual. Read a chapter, live it for a week, and see what changes. Thanks for spending this time with me. Now, go out there and start turning those thoughts into things